This is Charter Local Edition. I'm Brad Pomerance, and we are joined today by Peter Cham. He is currently the Mayor Pro Tem of the City of Monterey Park, but will be Mayor very shortly. Congratulations on your ascension to being Mayor.
Thank you.
For those that are watching statewide, they may not realize that Monterey Park is just a wonderful city with tremendous Asian flair, tremendous Asian culture just brewing and brimming at every corner. I'd like to take this time to talk to you about the history of Monterey Park and how did this city become such a mecca for Asian Americans?
Okay, that's a long story.
Yes,
but I don't know
I'm
if we
ready
have
for
time.
it. I'm ready for it.
Now, Monterey Park start is 1916.
Got it.
So next year, we will be 100
Oh
years.
Yes, congratulations, centennial celebration.
Yeah, and I'm going to be the centennial mayor next year.
Which has got to be a source of pride for you.
Right. And to start, Monterey Park is a bedroom community
Right.
for Los Angeles because it's so close to Los Angeles. So at that time, people work in Los Angeles and live in Monterey Park.
And it's east of Los Angeles. It's in the San Gabriel Valley, and pretty good freeway access.
Oh yeah, because the location is tremendously excellent because we have 3 major freeways bordering Monterey Park.
But I presume in 1916 the community didn't look like it does today.
No,
Was
not
it
at all.
mostly European?
Yes.
Right.
Caucasians, of course. And then in the starting the 60s or early 70s, then the long-time Chinese descent that come to the gold rush and build the railroad, and that time is already the 3rd or 4th generations. So before they work in Chinatown in Los Angeles, and then when they make more money, like doing business and be architects or engineers and stuff, so they moved to Monterey Park slowly.
What was it about Monterey Park? Was it just kind of a fluke that a few families of Chinese descent started to move, and then they brought their cousins, and then they brought their in-laws? I mean, was it that basic?
At that time was like that.
Okay.
So then in the 70s, then the Taiwanese came in numbers.
Meaning folks moving from Taiwan
Yes.
to Los Angeles
Immigrate.
came to
Monterey Park. Because they know maybe their relatives, friends in Monterey Park to start with. And before there was not a big number, only a small number. But then in 70s, then it swell.
And you came to Monterey Park in the
70s, right
and
at that time.
So you came Hong Kong, Madison, Wisconsin, to the LA area to Monterey Park. Was it you knew that it was a growing Asian community and you thought, oh, you know, my friends and family there, I'll give it a shot?
Yeah, it's a fluke. Actually, it's by opportunities and chance. Just because our friend purchased his first house. He's an engineer working for some oil company. And so he purchased his first house and need payment, help in payment for his house. So he asked me, since I'm renting, so anywhere is good. So he asked me to help out. So I said, okay, no problem. I pay rent to you. So moved to Monterey Park.
In the 70s, what % of the population would you say would be of Asian descent, of European descent, or Latino?
I'll say about 80% are whites.
In the 70s?
Yes. And then maybe 10% Latinos or 10% or less than 10% Chinese.
Today?
Today is about 60-something% Asians.
Wow.
And then 27% Latinos, 5% whites.
So what happened from the 1970s when you came in to create this tremendous boom in Asian Americans, specifically Chinese, is that right?
Right.
And I include Hong Kongese and Taiwanese in that mix.
Yeah, and also Vietnamese.
And that's interesting.
Yes.
Oh, so there's a Vietnamese community as well in Monterey Park.
Right.
I want to ask you about that in a moment. So how did we get from 10% in 1970 to 60% in 2015?
Just because people just move in, and other than work in LA or somewhere else, people start doing business like restaurants, bookstores, or anything that's catered to the Chinese community.
So the people that moved in the last, let's say, 40 years, are they Chinese immigrants, Taiwanese immigrants, Hong Kongese immigrants, or are they people that were already living in America of Asian descent?
Okay. the earliest part is the original, when they come from Gold Rush and
Got it.
railroad. And then the Taiwanese comes in at around the 70s.
Right.
And then Hong Kong, like me, in the 70s and 80s.
Right.
And then starting from the 90s and 2000s is mostly mainland Chinese.
So the question is, you have children.
Right.
The folks that came in the 70s and 80s have children. Are the children staying when they become adults?
Well, one of my sons have a house in Covina.
Okay, which is not far,
yeah,
but
because cannot afford to buy the expensive house in Monterey
so
Park.
Monterey
have to
Park
move
is
out.
fairly
it's
affluent?
kind of expensive.
It
you
is.
know, Yeah.
But generally speaking, is the Asian community that's there, is it an older community, or are younger families starting to kind of repopulate, I guess you could say?
I'll say right now it's getting older.
Oh, really?
We do, just like every other cities.
Right.
And no matter what countries or origin they
Of
are,
course.
it's the same in all the cities.
Is
now.
there an effort by the older generation in Monterey Park to keep that flavor, that Asian flavor in Monterey Park, by convincing the young to stay?
No, not quite.
okay.
It's not kind of like the extra efforts.
Right.
You know, whatever they want. I think
course.
right now these generations like me.
Oh, yeah, no,
I let
I hear
the
you.
children do whatever they want.
Right. So you mentioned there's a Vietnamese population.
Yes.
Talk to us about that, because you know, when I think about the Vietnamese, I think more about Westminster.
Right.
You know, more kind of North Orange County.
Yes.
But I guess there's a decent
Right.
population.
For that, in Westminster Garden Grove,
Right.
it's the Vietnamese.
Right.
That is the origin is Vietnamese in descent.
Okay.
But in Monterey Park, in San Gabriel Valley, mostly are the Chinese descent that lives or born in Vietnam and move over
That's
to
interesting,
United
right? Because
States.
there was a decent ethnically Chinese
Right.
population that lived in Vietnam
Right.
for a time.
And
Well, that's interesting.
they speak Cantonese or Mandarin, also Vietnamese language too.
Wow.
But then the Vietnamese,
I hear you.
They speak only Vietnamese.
So how is Monterey Park doing? I drove through it recently. It's beautiful.
Yes.
You can see the businesses are thriving. I see all the Chinese characters on the streets. I'm hungry. I feel like I want to step in. I don't mean to say that, but you know, who doesn't want a good meal? So tell me about it.
Right. We have famous about Monterey Park is
Yeah.
the Chinese food.
It is phenomenal.
Anywhere in the country or even outside the country, they come to Los Angeles
Right.
for visit. They will come to Monterey Park to eat Chinese food.
So what are you hoping to see in the centennial year? What's your goal for the 100th anniversary of Monterey Park?
Well, we'll have a big party.
Yes,
that's
and you
for
must
sure.
invite us. But are there certain economic and programs you want to put in place, incentives?
Yes. We have a few developments coming to Monterey Park. So in the south part of the town,
Right.
which is close to 60 freeway, Pomerance freeway.
I know where you're talking
we
about.
have a marketplace.
Nice.
Yeah, and so that's a regional shopping center. So
Right.
some national stores are coming in. And then in the North Atlantic Boulevard, which
Right.
is close to San Bernardino Freeway.
Right, the 10.
Yes,
Right.
10 freeway. There's 3 major hotels coming in. So
Those
which
are
is,
big economic drivers.
oh yes.
And that can really transform your community.
Exactly, and I think once those hotels and the marketplace opened, then we'll put in pressure on the existing owners, because with the new
Right.
shopping centers just
They're
close
gonna have
by, they have to remodel or do
His
something
name
better.
is Peter Chan. He is about to be the mayor of the beautiful city of Monterey Park. My name is Brad Pomerance. Thank you so much for joining us on Shutter Local Edition.